Oh my goodness, that was.
Yeah.
Come on, Microsoft. Well, all right. For you guys that may be here already, you may have heard us calling Xbox's showcase Maurice Cheeks. But yeah, man, we'll dive into that. But welcome, first of all, to the latest episode of the Sim Standard Podcast with Smitty, myself, SimFBallCritic, and of course AzureEffect, always in spirit when he's unable to make it. But welcome. Not gonna waste too much time tonight. We don't really have a lot to talk about, but we hope this is the night where you guys will participate. We're gonna open up the phone lines. We'll be testing it first, so we're gonna have Smitty test that out. When it's about that time to make sure everybody can get on. But we really just want to give you guys the floor. Call in, state your biz, and I'm probably gonna repeat this multiple times before we take the calls. But for you guys that are familiar with Terrible Tile Tuesday, we're gonna treat it the same way. A minute, in and out. Maybe two, but just don't be long-winded. Say what you have to say. Allow other, anybody else that might want to call in, allow those guys the ability to call in by shortening your call, and me and Smitty will do the same with our responses. So that's how that'll work. But before we get started, man, y'all know how we do each and every week. I'll throw it to Smitty first to see how his week was and anything he wants to touch on outside of the topics. I'll do the same, and then we'll dive into the topic, the main topic, and then we'll open up the floor. So, Smitty, first and foremost, man, how's it going? How was your week? Anything else you might want to comment on?
Oh man, week was good. Just been chilling for the most part, and I mean, I'll just say there hasn't been a lot going on. I mean, of course, the whole fixed franchise movement is going strong. I'm seeing all the tweets and everything. Got to keep that strength, keep that buzz going with that. But uh Xbox laid a fat egg, man. I just want to say that real quick. I mean, I know we'll tap on that real quick, on the show, but that was terrible, man. That's not how you showcase yourself, especially when Sony Sony did their showcase and everything, and you talk smack to them too. You know what I'm saying? You talk smack about what your console is going to be able to do, and oh, all the games that Sony has, you guys going to have, and it's like just what you shown. The way you did it was just bad. It was just bad. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was a complete letdown. But all in all, I mean, just looking forward. Well, I will say this: the NBA is getting ready to start. You had a game. Yes, was it yesterday? The Nuggets and what was it? The Nuggets and the Wizards
Oh
played. I
yeah,
didn't even know the game was
exhibition.
happening.
Me
Yeah, it
neither.
was a
Yeah.
preseason, so like I didn't even know that was happening. But I saw highlights on Twitter and stuff like that. Later on in the day, I'm like, oh snap, okay, like that's what's up. So Bobo did his thing. Like he out there balling a bit, but that's but no, I ain't really got nothing else other than that, man. Doing good, family's good and safe as well, and that's just the key thing, man, at this point. But I'll throw it to you, Sim.
Yeah, man, about the same with me. Family's good and safe. It's getting crazy again out there, guys. So, we always going to remind you just be smart, and even with the mask thing, for some people that don't agree with it, or it's not going to hurt you, man. I mean, just make people comfortable, man. Sometimes you got to think about others. You know what I mean? Even if you don't believe in it and some people think it's a hoax and all that, I'm not going down that road. But just wear the mask. Just try to be as safe as you can, because one thing for sure, we know people are catching this thing. Unfortunately, some people are dying from this thing. Well, not even some, a good amount of people. So just be careful, man. Um, Let me see. Do I have anything else outside of what we're going to get into? Probably not. Yeah, Microsoft. Maybe we could even talk about that first and kind of get that out the way. What we plan to talk about here tonight. Let me look at my little notations again, really quick. Really, not a lot. Like I said, the Madden 21 Superstar Abilities tier list. I think CDJ on Twitter, he's probably here in the chat. He sent that to me on Twitter. We can kind of dive into that. That'll be the bulk of the conversation. We'll basically just talk about what we feel about it. For some of you guys that may or may not have seen that article, we'll read a few pieces of it and just give our general thoughts on that. We'll do the showcase as far as Xbox. We'll be quick with that right away. And after that, it's just open topic, open for the callers. We'll give you the number once we confirm that it works. We'll have Smitty check that out here in a moment to make sure he can connect. So, we'll let you know early if we're going to be able to bring in the call. So whenever you're ready, Smitty, you can go ahead and dial that and make sure you can connect to the line. And even if Smitty can't get in, I will still throw the number out there to see if somebody else can get in. Hopefully it works. It worked on Tuesday. So, again, you guys that are familiar with Terrible Tile Tuesday, it's been working pretty good for us the last 5 weeks or so, but sometimes Blog Talk gets crazy. Let's start with Microsoft, man. I'll say my little piece. Smitty has pretty much gave his sentiment, but I'm sure he'll dive a little further. First of all, it's like I said, man, on Twitter, the beauty of having a gaming PC, and I give Smitty part of that credit for kind of getting me involved with that, and talking me through and, suggested, I went looking for a computer, about 2 years ago now, I guess, maybe a little less than that, but at least 2 years. I want to say about 2 years. May have been a year and a half, I don't know. But I went, I was going to build my own computer, and then I happened to be in Best Buy, and I saw there were a lot of these gaming PCs on sale, significant sales, like some of them were $300 to $400. I was like, wow. So I'm in there. I don't know much about, I've been a Mac guy for the longest time. I know PCs, but not on that side of it. So I'm taking pictures of specs and sending them to Smitty. I was like, hey, what do you think about this one and the price? And Smitty was like, yeah, that's pretty good. So I ended up buying one. Then I'm glad I did, because here's the beauty of it. I'm going with PS5, but I don't need to buy an Xbox because of the PC. Most, if not all, of the games they showed, especially the ones that was console exclusive, it said Xbox Series X and also Windows PC. There you have it. And I did find out as well, which most of you probably already noticed, but I found out there is a Game Pass for PC. So, what do I need an Xbox for? So I went into it saying, let me see if they could woo me and make me, feel like I want to come back to Xbox. And I know it, it's just introducing the console. I know that's not the end all be all, but so let me see if there's anything that's going to wow me. Nothing. There was a game or two that looked interesting. I was telling Smitty earlier, that game, The Medium. I like the way that looks. That was the one with the girl, and apparently she had died, or somebody had died, and it was like she was playing the two sides of the story simultaneously. That looks crazy. That's just me. I don't know if everybody else is into that type of game, but you're talking to a guy that fell in love with like Until Dawn. That was my joint on PS4. So I love those type of weird games like that outside of just your regular RPGs and things. So that looked interesting to me. Everything else really didn't. The little teaser for Forza looked pretty slick. It was another game where the graphics looked crazy. It was the one where I think the girl, it looked like the girl might have been black or mixed. But she was definitely, an ethnic girl, right? That game, the graphics looked bananas. And I think it was that might have been the State of Decay. Was that with that one, Smitty? You remember, was that the State of Decay 3?
You talking about when the girl was in the woods?
Yeah.
And all that? Yeah, that was State of Decay 3.
Graphics look crazy on that. But again, I never played State of Decay, so I don't even. I wouldn't know.
That was more like a CG trailer.
That's what I thought.
The thing. It wasn't the way the game plays, because State of Decay is like playing games like H1Z1.
Okay.
Or Left 4 Dead. You know what I mean? Like those, it's like along those lines. It's not. I mean, the game is good. Don't get me wrong. The games, like, they're not bad games at all.
Mm.
But it's just that what you saw was just a CG. What we all saw was just a CG trailer. So that wasn't it.
Oh, so is it like how some of the old games used to be, where the cutscene was beautiful, and then when they drop you into the gameplay, it's different, kind of like that?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Ah,
it's a third person. It's a third person
ah,
view.
boo.
So it's a third person view kind of deal. It ain't something like that, where it's working like that. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
Boo. That's see, and
It,
Smitty's going. This is going to hit home for Smitty when I say this. The reason why I say boo to that, because I remember when me and Smitty was at E3, not EA Play. We were at E3 and we saw this game called The Order 1886. And I
oh
remember the
yeah,
guy telling us, that's not CG, guys, that's gameplay.
yeah,
And me and Smitty was like, what? Because again, we were accustomed to beautiful
right.
cinematics, then the
Hmm.
gameplay isn't the same. That was one of the first of its kind. And I remember how we were so shocked. It's funny because just a quick side note, or sidebar, I guess you would say. We always say graphics don't matter. It's always about the gameplay when we talk about our sports games. But let's be honest. Graphics definitely matter in the sense of blowing you away. Like, all of us are gameplay first, but you still like that graphical element of how realistic a game can look, even if it's not a sports title. So me and Smitty were blown away when we saw that game for the first time. So
Yeah.
to hear that, this game probably wouldn't be like that, games like The Order is the reason why I would have expected that, what I saw today to be actual gameplay, but I guess not. Other than that, like I said, the medium, that story seems interesting. You're talking about a guy that loved Halo. I'm talking all the way back from the first Halo. That kind of reintroduced me to really caring about shooters. Loved Halo all the way through Halo 3. I didn't really jive with the rest of them. But all the way through Halo 3, that was my thing. Because again, I was an Xbox and a 360 guy. But I didn't even see that a jump in that. Halo it didn't look like, whoa, this is next gen Halo. It just looked like it was, better a little bit graphically, but it didn't. I was disappointed with that because Halo, Xbox, Microsoft has to know that's one of their staples. That's a game, like, that's one of them games that you identify that game with Xbox. So for that to not blow me away, and I know we're just looking at video, but y'all know what I'm saying. Just wasn't impressed, man. I wasn't. And the last thing I'll say before I throw it to Smitty, the funny thing is, remember how boring and like that commercial, Dry Eyes. Remember how drawn out that the PlayStation or the Sony's event was when the guy just standing up there and it looks like people's silhouettes. And remember how we always like, yo, come on, man, you're putting us to sleep. And still, I could, not being biased, because again, I used to be an Xbox guy. I can walk away from that presentation feeling better about the console than I did today. So you had an opportunity seeing how Sony delivered, and y'all still didn't. Again, I don't do the console wars. I know people are gonna love what Xbox is bringing because that's their thing. People are gonna love what the PS5 is bringing because that's their thing. I don't get into all of that. Play what you want. We all win here as far as consumers. But me personally, I just didn't feel. I didn't walk away from that feeling like anything had me overly excited. So there you have it. Well, what you got on this, Smitty?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said. Oh, by the way, the blog talk's working. I'm on that.
Oh,
You know,
good, good, bet, bet.
so that's working. Um, but looking at the presentation and everything, and I mean, like you said, man, everything being CG'd up and all that good stuff, there wasn't much really to sink into it. The game didn't, none of the games left off the page. And like what Sim said, that's an outstanding point too about that order. because even though Order was mad short, and that's what's so disappointing. And I seriously hope they come out with another one that has a lot more to it. Well, I mean, the way it ended, it definitely set up for a sequel. But that was next gen gaming, and yes, we don't talk about. I would say this: one of the main reasons I feel we don't go crazy about graphics is because, especially with us, we're not 2K guys like that. Even though we play 2K, don't get me wrong, but
I'm
what I'm
about to
saying
be.
though is we're right. I know, right? In a minute, yeah, keep playing, but what
Oh
I'm
man.
saying is that because Madden's been lacking for so long, that's why we don't give a care about the graphics like that. We're like, you could just give us the sweetest gameplay imaginable, and the graphics could be bland. Work
Yeah.
on the graphics last. Give us the gameplay. That's why we be like that. But when you see a game like The Order that had the gameplay, had the visuals and everything, and that's the cool thing about it too. There was like talking to the people in line, just like I said, side note, sidebarring for a moment. What was cool was talking to those guys for the game. They was like, these weapons and everything. No, these are actual weapons that would be made based off of the technology during that era. I'm like,
Right.
dang, they were historically accurate with like the imagination, with the creation, the creative narrative of it, which was real cool. Like I really liked that. But the fact that, I mean, just so much, and that's a game I'm gonna have to go back and get and play just because. You know what I'm saying? Because it just, all the detail that was in there, and then you look at the games we have, and I remember us doing a show back when that came out, and we played through it and all that. Well, I don't know if you had got it, but I know I did,
Oh
and I
yeah.
played. But yeah, you got it. Okay, so when I played through it, and I was just like, "That's a next gen game. It's short, mad short, but that's a next gen game. That's how we should get. That's how Madden should be. That's how these games should come out. And to not get the game that we should have at this point, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But that goes back to the Microsoft thing here. Just I could correlate the Madden thing with the Microsoft thing. This is the thing. Microsoft, you were you promoted no sports games. Now, one sports game was shown during your presentation. No FIFA. Why didn't you show Madden? Like you should have shown Madden Next Gen, because remember when they did that Field Next Level and all that stuff, that was on Xbox One X. Why didn't you promote it? 2K did their thing with the five. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why didn't you promote? That was a perfect opportunity and you didn't. So you have that. But then also, all these games you've shown, it looked a lot like this was a Nintendo Switch kind of presentation, because none of your games left off the pages. And I mean, some people may be cool with the games they shown and everything, but if you're telling me, once again, that's like you build a PC, Look, when I if you build a PC and you spend $1,000, $700, 1,500, two, three, four, some people spend $3,000, $4,000 on building themselves a PC. You're not getting that to run PS2 games. You see what I'm saying? You're not building that to run PS2 level games. You're building that to be running high level, like you want to run the current games at the highest graphical fidelities, all the textures, all the everything, right? That's the point of you getting those high-end performance computers for that purpose. So I want to maximize on that. I want to see you guys maximizing on that technological capability. For you guys to sit up once again and all you're showcasing is the marquee games. We saw Halo, we saw Forza, and then the next game at some point is going to be there's going to be yet another Gears of War. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you guys showcasing that's going to be groundbreaking? That's brand spanking new. Sony literally in their presentation, they didn't say nothing about PS4. everything was on the 5. It was like everything you see, these games, the way you guys are seeing them are all off of PS5 tech. All of it off of PS5 tech. You see what I'm saying? And it's like you guys shown a plethora of games that basically are going to be coming out in a few months on current gen consoles. What are you doing? That's not the point. You put it in the news. Hey guys, we stopped production on Xbox on Xbox Ones for a reason. We stopped all that. No more production. But you got games that are gonna be coming out on that console though. You know what I'm saying? So, and not everybody is gonna be getting a next gen console off rip. So it's like there's a lot of gaping holes here in your argument, Microsoft, from what you guys had showcased, and you guys talk smack to Sony. So it's like how you talk, like I said earlier, how you gonna talk smack to Sony, and then you straight drop the ball. I mean, that was a horrible presentation. Considering you got competition, see, that's like let 2K have rights to the NFL license along with EA, and EA comes out the way they did this year. They dead in the water. Oh man, we got you. NBA's got my league, we got my NFL. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever they call it. They would have a franchise mode that would absolutely obliterate what would be in Madden right now. Madden come
My
out with patch
NFL.
notes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Got a
My
nice ring
NFL,
to it.
something like that. Like if you do something like that, and it would obliterate EA's patch notes. And that's it. You see what I'm saying? That's literally what Sony did. I mean, what Microsoft did. They just talked up something that never came to fruition. And I mean, yes, does Sony have to prove? Yes, because all these games are going to be at $70 price points. All these games are not going to be hot. Okay. Not, you know what I'm saying? Even though some of them look like nice concepts, not every game is going to hit. And I mean, look, Microsoft can have some fun games and everything, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to put your best foot forward, not just a foot forward. You're supposed to put your best foot forward because you're competing for that console, you know, to get that money. You want people to purchase your console over everybody else's. That ain't gonna happen if things don't play out the right way in your favor. That's all. Like I said to Sim before we fired up the show, the viewership numbers for the Microsoft thing, 2.6, well, off of YouTube numbers, 2.6 million 2.6 million people watched the Microsoft presentation, while I think they said 7.3 or 7.5 million people watched the Sony presentation. That's just YouTube numbers. The next closest, they did the top 5 streams. It was Sony's PS5 unveiling was number 1 with over 7 million people. And then the next closest was EA Play, the EA Play presentation with 3.1 million. And then after that, it just went, I think it was like Xbox Series X when they did their first presentation, their first unveiling at the Video Game Awards, and then the Ubisoft presentation, and then it was the Microsoft Xbox presentation that was today. That was at the bottom at 2.6 million. So it's like 7+ million people versus a little over 2.5. You think about that when it comes to this holiday season. And it's when you have presentations like that, the only saving grace that you have at this point now is your price point. If your price point is not right, man, you could forget it. It's a wrap. So whatever you guys do price wise, it better be a smash hit for real, or else you in some serious trouble.
Man,
That's it.
anytime you get the social media wave in your favor, like, you know, it's so funny, man. I always joke with my wife because she done fell in love with TikTok. Not that she does it, she just likes watching the videos, right? So I bring that up to say, anytime there's like TikTok stuff happening for PS5, like all of these hashtags, and she's showing me all these videos where they're saying, what you would do for the PS5, or like guys basically saying to their girl or their wife. Anytime you get that type of stuff going on, it's already a wrap. It's already a wrap. I ain't hearing nobody talk about that for Xbox. Nobody. All of the stuff I'm hearing is PS5, PS5, PS5. So it's one of those things, man. Sony has done their job over these last, console generations. They've won the war, and it seems like they're going to continue to do it. Now, again, this is not me campaigning for one console. This is not me being in favor of one console. I don't play that game because, Smitty is my witness. I was ready to go Xbox One because 360 is still one of my favorite, I guess I could say, console, because we spent so much time on it, and it's, we all was gaming before that, but the 360 was like I hit a lot of different areas and points of my gaming and my love for gaming. Like as far as trying different things, the 360 did that for me. That era, like I got my game on with the 360. Of course I did before that too, but y'all know what I'm saying. Is like that run right there. That was my favorite controller at the time. So I was all gung ho for Xbox. So it was a no-brainer. See how funny that is? It was a no-brainer to me when the next gen consoles were coming out together. I was rocking with Xbox because that's why I was comfortable. That's why I had built, Smitty and Azure. Everybody I know that I talk to that ain't a friend that I grew up with. Guys like these are friends. We've become friends over. But y'all know what I'm saying. It's like all of my people that I game with were all on the 360. So, of course, I was staying Microsoft. But when Smitty and Azure was like, hey, bro, you might want to get that for. I was like, what? Y'all going there? I was like, nope. I'm staying with the 360. I mean, I'm staying with Xbox. Go down to EA, and there's people even in there saying, hey, man, PS4 is going to be where it's at. So, I switched up. Canceled my pre-order. And shout-outs, I can't even remember my man's name now. From Twitter. His real name is Tyler Dalton on Facebook.
Yeah.
Shout outs to my mans. Because I had posted on Twitter, I think, something like that, or I might have did a video saying, man, I can't get a pre-order. Everybody's got them booked up. He had two. He had an extra one. He's like, yo, man, take mine over. I was like, yo, that's love. And that's how I end up getting the PS4. So when I say these things, it's not because I'm biased. It's just that, man, Sony has spanked Microsoft. And it looks like they're on their way again. Because like I said, anytime you got the TikTok crowd and it's these TikTok challenges, ones that I won't partake in, by the way. The latest one she showed me is all of these guys switching roles. And listen, I'm just joking here. It's just like, I'm just not doing that because I'm not into this. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that. But these guys are actually dressing up like as if they were the girl. It's hilarious. But like I said, I ain't doing that. But you got all of that going on TikTok about the PS5. I have yet to hear anybody clamoring about the Xbox X. I haven't. So it looks like the war is already over. We'll see. But that's about all I got, man. Is there anything else? I thought I saw something in the chat I wanted to hit on before we dive into these abilities. And we got good time here, man. We're going to have plenty of time for you guys to call in. Thought it was something else I saw here. Guess not. So, all right, we'll move on, man. What Dez talk about? Let me read Dez' comment real quick. He says 360 was way better than the PS3 for sports and the shooters and the gaming alone, but PS3 was superior entertaining system, greatest controller ever. Worst fall of ever. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Because I wish I would have kept the daggone PS3. I wasn't thinking straight back then. I wish I would have kept that. Right? Because now I could be playing NCAA. Or, I gave away, I told y'all, y'all know the story with my 360, but I would have kept one of them if I had two, right? But I wasn't a PlayStation guy during that era. I was PS1, PS2, but when 360 came out, everything comes full circle, right? Once I got duped by the Madden, the Madden advertisement to go to next gen Madden, and I ran out there and got me a 360 because y'all remember, 360 was out first if I remember correctly. Then the PS3 came. Yep. So I just stuck with the 360. I never really entertained the PS3 until it dropped price significantly. Then I ended up getting one because I wanted to play Red Dead. Again, got to shout out Sony at the time. It was only on PlayStation. So I was like, I got to see what this game about, and fell in love with it. Ended up selling it to where I was able to get my money back, and the rest was history. I stayed with 360. But it's funny to hear guys like Dad say it was the greatest controller, where me, personally, I feel like the 360 controller was the dope one. But that's because I didn't have enough time on the PS3. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. But yeah, man, it just is what it is. I'm going PS5 all day long, and like I said, what I'm looking at you guys on right now, this computer screen, this gaming PC, this will be my Xbox Series X right here. So, Madden's abilities. Oh. Let's get into it really quick, guys, because we want to leave a significant amount of time for you guys to call in and chop it up. Yeah. So, shout outs to, and I'm actually going to look because I want to give him his full credit. Let me give him his full name here on Twitter. Shout outs to Coach Jones 256, CDJ 256. I believe it's the same CDJ that's often in the chat. He's probably in here right now, maybe not, but if he is, shout outs to him because he said, hey man, show, topic for the night. How about that article I sent to you? The article that he sent is the Madden 21 Superstar Abilities tier list for each archetype in franchise mode. So me and Smitty will chop it up. We haven't actually discussed this amongst each other yet, so this will be a very organic conversation. What I'll do, guys, is read just a few pieces of the article, and then, we'll kind of give our thoughts on it one way or the other. So just starting off, it says, one of the most important decisions you will make in the franchise mode is to determine which archetype you want to pursue to develop your young players. Don't they make franchise mode sound like it's all that?
Yeah, no right.
Boy, it's a slap in the face. It says each archetype comes with unique superstar abilities, so you will want to make sure you fully understand all of your options before you start using your XP to progress a young player. And it basically says that the list of archetypes and positions are below, along with the corresponding abilities. Let's start right here. For the most part, and shout outs to maddenschool.com. This is where the article came from, so I want to give them their credit. They said this article is, at the time, is about 95% accurate. It may be a few abilities or superstars or whatever missing, but it says here for the most part, Tier 1 abilities will unlock at 70 overall. Tier 2 will unlock at 85. And that's for quarterbacks and offensive linemen. It says quarterbacks unlock their abilities at 60, 70, 80, 85, and 90, while offensive linemen will unlock at 70 and 80. Some of the things here as far as the tiers, I'll read a few of these. Tier 1 quarterback superstar abilities. Strong arm would get quick draw, as well as scrambler gets quick draw. Improviser will get sleight of hand. Field general will get inside deadeye. At tier 2, the tier 2 abilities for quarterbacks unlock at 70 overall. The strong arm would get an anchored extender, gutsy scrambler, and fearless. Scrambler will get spin cycle and jukebox. Improviser will get bulldozer, roaming deadeye. Field general will get pocket deadeye. And I'll tell you guys right now, I'm going to read the rest of the tiers for the quarterbacks, and then I'll pick one defensive position, and we'll read that and then me and Smitty will chop it up. You know, you guys can go take a look at this article for yourselves really quick. Let me go post it here in the chat in case y'all want to pull up the article at the same time that you're listening to us. Give me a second. Should have already done that, by the way. My bad. All right, so back to quarterback. Tier 3. Tier 3 abilities will be unlocked for quarterbacks at 80 overall. The strong arm would get red zone, deadeye, set feet lead, and pass lead elite. I'm not mad at that one. I'm going to just give y'all a quick sidebar here. I'm not mad at the fact that you can get pass lead elite a little lower. Now, I will honestly say I don't know how this structure was in 20. So if this is stuff that y'all are already familiar with and that it was in 20, maybe I just didn't realize it. I don't know. But I like the fact that you don't have to be so high of an overall to get something like that. Me personally, I don't even think that should be an ability, by the way, but we'll get to that. Scrambler doesn't get anything at 80. Improviser will get the no-look deadeye, which scares me a little bit because are we saying now that is that the Patrick Mahomes throw? So are we saying now that more quarterbacks can get that? If that's the case, I don't like that. Field General doesn't get anything at 80 overall. And then any will get Clutch and Homer. So any of those archetypes can get Clutch or Homer at 80 overall. Tier 4. Whoa, it's more than 4. It's 5 tiers. So Tier 4, the Tier 4 abilities will unlock at 85. The strong arm will get sideline deadeye, long range deadeye, comeback, and gunslinger. Scrambler will get fast break and safety valve. The improviser will get agile extender and gunslinger, and field generals will get red zone deadeye. The last tier will be tier 5, which will unlock at 90 overall. Strong arm will get lofty deadeye. Scrambler will get dashing deadeye. Improviser will get escape artist, dashing deadeye, and threat detector. And the field general will get protected and hot route. Why'd I say it like that? Hot route master. All right, cool. So now let's skip over to the defensive side of the ball. One of the ones that I see. What do we all care about? Let's find something good here. Outside backers, middle backers. Hey, let's do cornerbacks. All right, so the cornerback X Factor abilities. As low as 70 overall. Man-to-man. Shutdown. And bottleneck. Interesting. Zone will get Zone Hawk at 70. And slot will get reinforcement and selfless. This is at 70 overall. Tier 1 for superstar abilities. It says that's also 70 overall. Man-to-man will get return man. That's an interesting one. Zone will get flat zone KO. Slot will get mid-zone KO and strip specialist. And any of the archetypes will get acrobat, tip drill, and unfakeable. Tier 2 is at 85 overall. For the man-to-man, short KO, short route KO, deep route KO. Zone archetypes will get chuck out, deep out zone KO. Slot will get medium route KO and one step ahead. And then any will get pick artist and bench press. And that's about it for the corners. So there's 2 tiers there. Now, somebody in the chat, please let me know. I know NY Kia would know. Smitty probably would know, so Smitty can chime in, when I throw it to him. But I don't, let me just ask Smitty real quick. Were there tiers like this in 20? Are they in 20? I don't recall.
No.
They're not. Okay, good. All right, I was about to say.
This one in there.
All right, so let me give you my quick thoughts, man. Then we'll throw it to Smitty, and then after that, we're going to hear what y'all have to say. Okay, I'm going to start with positive first because I have a lot of, well, not a lot, but the negative that I'm going to say is pretty much going to tackle this whole list. Positively, I like the fact that you can reach some of these things at lower overalls. Reason why I like that is there's a few reasons. I'm giving him too much credit here, Smitty and chat. But I would like to think that by allowing guys to be at a lower overall and get some of these abilities, then you're rewarding people for being good at one thing where they may not be that great at something else. I would like to think they're doing that. I don't know if it's really going to play like that because Smitty knows this as well as I do. For years, we've been saying in general, before there were any abilities, listen, man, overalls mean too much. Why can't we have some gameplay where I have a dude that might have 99 strength, right? And this dude can bull rush anybody, but he's a 60 overall because he's a bum elsewhere. Steeler fans, let me throw a name out there at you guys. Big Dan McCullers. What have we been saying since Big Dan has been drafted? Let me throw the numbers out there for you guys that don't know who that is, which you'll see a lot of them this year with no Javon Hargrave. Yes, I'm crying about that. But I knew we weren't going to be able to keep Javon. It just is what it is. He played himself out of Pittsburgh at nose tackle. Hope he does well in Philly. Big Dan McCullers was drafted out of Tennessee, 6'7", 350 pounds. He's a D tackle. I mean, bruh, just listen to those measurables. 6'7", 350.
When y'all draft him?
Oh, last year was like his 5th year.
Really? Okay.
You ain't never heard of him, have you?
No, I ain't heard of no, because I remember one of the years we did the show here watching the draft, and was he a first round pick?
No, this late round guy. Like maybe 3rd or 4th, maybe. Something like that.
It was a real big guy that you guys had picked, and it was in recent years. I don't know if it's him or it's somebody else I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it might be somebody else.
It was a big fella that was like, he played D tackle out of Tennessee, huge cat.
That's him. That's got to be him.
That's probably him.
So
okay.
The thing is, most people have never heard of him. Why is that? He should be better than what he is. But what he's good at is moving furniture. Like, he can move somebody up out of the club real fast. If you get him in a bull rush situation, he can steamroll you.
Yeah.
That's all he got. But we can't represent that in Madden.
Right.
Like, I should be able to, and my crazy mind being the super sim head that I am, I be subbing him in when it's like 3rd and short, thinking, in my mind, he's big, he can clog it. No, he can't, because weight and momentum don't mean nothing. You see what I'm saying? So we've been asking for that for years. So it seems like ever since, I think it might have started a little bit in 19, they did say they were going to try to emphasize that with guys, I don't know if the gameplay has gotten to that point yet. I'm actually going to test that out a lot this year, especially since these overalls are a lot lower for, you getting your ability. But anyway, long story short, I'm cool with that because maybe I do bring him in like the Steelers do, 3rd and 2. Come on in, Big Dan. We're going to run the 4-4, and we're going to plug him in up there up front. And a lot of times he does his thing. So I'm cool with that. I also think it will even the playing field, so to speak, where we could be in a 32-man league like I'll be playing in, and you got some pieces on your team, even though they might not be the greatest, but you got guys that are good at one thing. Again, I'm saying the same thing twice, but in this regard, I might have a corner that's just, he's shut down with a 70 overall. Great. I bring him in on situations where I need him to press and play man. Outstanding. I would love for it to work like that. But here's the problem. Here's the negative with abilities in general. I'm cool with them because how else can you make players play like themselves if you don't give them a weapon system, a 2K8 ability system, the Madden 20 abilities, or the 2K20 badges? So in theory, I'm cool with it. But the problem with Madden is these things are not balanced.
Right.
The two biggest problem with these abilities, and it's funny because I was going to make an independent video on this, and I probably won't now because we're saying it right now. The two biggest problems is this. First, we say this every week. Weight and momentum and physics is not always accounted for. That's number one. Number two is there shouldn't be any absolutes. It makes me cringe when I read some of the ones like the one I think Lamar Jackson has where if he's in the zone, he can't fumble. What? Why? You see what I mean? Or some of these running backs when they're in the zone, they can't be tackled. Or the one I think George Kittle has, the one which I'm not knocking it. Kittle does do this in the real world. Remember that game? What was it against the Saints when I mean, this dude wouldn't go down. But there's an ability. The shout outs to Eric Rayweather. He did a video talking about them all. He has an ability where he can't be brought down by the first tackler if he's in the zone. And here's the problem. I get what y'all are going for, and I appreciate it. Let me be the first to say that. I appreciate what they're going for, separating players and make them play like themselves. But the problem is you cannot have absolutes in football.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So if they could just marry the game that they have on display right now with physics mattering at all times, none of this would be a problem because if physics would matter at all times, Lamar might be in the zone. But if he get hit the right way or if the helmet hits the ball, it's coming out.
Right.
So that's what scares me is the fact that they're still absolute. And I know, let me be the first to say, it's not like these guys are going to be in the zone that often or the whole game. True. But still, what scares me is it lets me know that the gameplay is still governed, so to speak. When you can literally turn a dial up and say, don't let him fumble. Don't let him get tackled. Make this truck work. That's my problem with it, man. It's not so much this list. I like what they're doing with the overall caps and all of that. Great, because now my little bum, again, Steelers, let's say I have an Artie Burns type that ain't that good, but he's good at man, and I can get him to be a shutdown at 70. Great, I'll bring him in those situations. Great. This is to make the game very interesting when we have pieces that you can actually use your roster. Now, and I know I'm being a little too generous here, now preseason might really mean something in franchise if I can find this guy that, wait a minute. This guy's a shutdown. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that last part that I said about the physics, I can't do the absolute, Smitty. I can't.
Yeah, no.
That kills it.
You can't have that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what was that ability they said, that avalanche? You can,
God.
You in the secondary, you can come down and you hit them with a hit stick.
Fumble.
It's a guaranteed
every
fumble.
time.
Like,
come on,
every
man.
time, like, come on, man. You can't do that.
Oh.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why I always bring up games like FIFA, because FIFA, you have players with abilities that are like 60 overall players, well, skill traits or whatever. But, they're traits. I think they dub it as traits. But that doesn't mean you could just do any and everything. You still can be physically hindered. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of your numerical ratings. Just like I made points like this before on the show. I can have a guy that's like a 65 overall player going up against Lionel Messi, and we all know that Messi is a 95 plus overall player. He's got skills up the wazoo, traits all over the place for various things he's proficient at. But if I have a 6 foot, like if I have like a 6 foot guy that is, I don't know, let's say 230 or something like that or whatever, just throwing the numbers out there. But if he's bigger and bulkier than Messi, I can knock him off the ball path. You see what I'm saying? I can knock the ball away from him. I can throw his balance off. So
There
all
you
his
go.
ratings and his traits go right out the window because the real world physicality comes into play. FIFA has that. NHL does the same freaking thing. So it's like, and what's crazy with NHL, just to say that this is sidebar material, but the point is, you could literally adjust sliders to make height, weight, and momentum make that matter over the numerical ratings. Or you can balance the sliders so that way you get that good mesh of ratings along with the physical. So it's like, how come these two games you have it, but Madden you can't? Madden's the most physical out of them, and it's like you don't have that balance there, but you got it with FIFA and NHL. So it can be done. You know what I'm saying? And it needs to be done because a sport like football, as dynamic as it is, and that's the thing. If you're driving downfield, that's like when Sim and I play FIFA or whatever, and we post little clips and everything. The crazy thing about it is that the gameplay tells the story because the organic nature of how the game plays that tells the story. Independent ball physics, independent player physics, and interactions and everything occurring all over the field, especially when it's around the ball. So excuse me. So it's like if I try to pull off a trick move, which you could try pulling off trick moves at any point, it's not you're not going to get pulled into a two-man animation. You could do whatever you want whenever you feel like, but there will be a consequence. You know what I'm saying? If you pull something off and they're able to stop it, the ball can organically bounce off of the other player's body. It could bounce off of you because you try to pull it off in too tight of a proximity. It could bounce off the defender because their leg is just in the right position. So that way, or their body or wherever they get hit at is in the right position to throw the trajectory off of the ball when you try to pull some kind of trick move on them. You see what I'm saying? So the tools and everything, the tools and everything are there in those games, but it's like we just don't see them played out in Madden. And that's like super duper head scratching. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, how come this is in, how come this isn't in there? You know what I mean? And we're about to get ready to go to another generation. That's why when you do those Madden hype trailers and you showcase that next gen stuff, that's why we don't believe you. Because you have games
We
right
need
now
more
on the,
people. We don't
yeah.
believe you.
Like you got games on the console right now that outperform what you got currently, and then you're saying next gen we're gonna get all that stuff. Well, excuse me, supposedly we're gonna get that stuff. Because for those of us that remember seeing that Madden Next Level commercial, they literally shown animations that we've seen already on this current gen. And then, like we predicted, potentially, but we predicted it, that Mahomes stretching out for the pylon and everything, that was a two-man animation. You know what I'm saying? That was a forced two-man. Oh, I'm gonna try to tackle him from behind or at this angle. Oh no, you're gonna do this bump animation where you push him and then he's gonna stretch out and get sick. Like, come on, dude. Come on, man. Really? Can't be doing that, man. That's corny. So but yeah, I don't know. See, and then my man talking about the shared technology, and that's exactly it. The game's on Frostbite. Madden 21 is on. I mean, not Madden. Yeah, FIFA 21. I'm sorry. On this current gen, they just unveiled some details for the game earlier today. FIFA 21. That's on Frostbite. You know what I mean? All this stuff is on Frostbite. So it's like, come on, man. Come with it, man. They gotta do way better than what they're doing, man. And it's not gonna cut it the way they're doing it at this point. So, but throw it to you, brother, man. That's
Yeah, that's it pretty much, man. And
that's it.
yeah, I believe that was true. Sim Gamer, I think he was 602. So whoever calls back to the queue first, that's who we will. Yep, I do see 602. What was that talk? Oh, that's my Ring doorbell talk. Just to give you guys some quick I don't want to say instructions, but just so everybody knows how it works. We're gonna answer your call. Keep it short, like because we can't. I mean, depending on how many calls we get, we can't. And again, people who watch Terrible Towel Tuesday knows this. Sometimes, man, I've gotten 15 people calling. We can't just let everybody just go and go and go and go because we got to get other people on the call and we have to respond to your call. So what I usually ask there is if you can get your point across in a minute, maybe two, please do that. Because what I will do, no disrespect, but I will mute you and say, hey, you taking too long and we move on. But it's just out of respect of everyone else. We want to try to make this a regular thing on the show. So, I have it. I might as well use it for this show as well. We'll see how it goes tonight. But anyway, other instruction that I need you to know, if you're in the phone queue, and Smitty probably is already listening, just confirm that you're able to hear me in the queue, not the stream. That's very important because sometimes Blog Talk trips out and the caller can't hear me on the phone. They can only hear me through the chat or the stream. If that is the case, you will hear it still say unmuted and you could just start talking because I can hear you. The chat will hear you. The only difference is you can't hear me talking back. All right. And I'm gonna unmute Smitty as well. So both of us will be there. So if you wanted us to chime in, he'll be able to talk if he needs to. But those are just the quick rules. And the last one, if you are listening on the phone, mute your computer for two reasons. So we don't get double audio and also so you don't have the delay. Because obviously the phone queue is more live to you right then. The stream on your computer, obviously because it's streaming, is going to be more of a delay. So I'm sure most of you guys understand that. But all right, let's go, man. We're going to take 602 first. Let me unmute Smitty in case Smitty wants to talk.
All right.
And you can hear me through the queue, right, Smitty?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, good. All right, so here we go, guys. First up is area code 602. What you got for us? What's up, brother? What's going on? Yeah. Oh, hold on. 1 second. I just remembered something. Yeah. I had the browser muted for the stream. So, yeah, start over. So you guys can probably hear him now. So my bad. All right, go ahead, 602.
All right.
Well, True Sim
So,
Gamer.
just a quick little thing here. Being a programmer, software developer myself, but also loving football. We used to chop it up back in the day and as a Sim Standard. But anyway, man, long story short, the rating system, man, needs to go. Like I said, there's a system that I've had in my head for a long time that could be built that encompasses, the NFL stats in general. So by taking the NFL stats and building a system, an algorithm around that, and then injecting all the players in through from a database at one time will allow them to more accurately capture every player's, whether speed or like running speed or acceleration, deceleration, all those things. It'll allow them to capture that in a more accurate manner. Otherwise, man, all they're doing is just coming up with their own ratings and saying, well, Pat Mahomes is a 99 and Antonio Brown's is a 97 or something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, just keep that in mind. Like there's a better way to do it. They just have to focus on creating a system that actually works for ratings instead of just creating the ratings themselves. That's all I got to say on it.
Man, appreciate the call, man. See, True Sim Gamer set the tone right there. See how he in and out. Perfect. And yeah, man, definitely we used to kick it with him guys back in the day. A lot of us kind of, went separate directions, so to speak, with the Sim Standard channel for various reasons. It was just, people's schedules and things like that. But he's fighting a good fight just like we are, so we appreciate you calling. I'll be brief. So that's another thing, Smitty and we will both be brief with our responses. If we're going to tell y'all to be brief, then we got to shut up too, right? Yes, fully agree. I have nothing to rebut there. I fully agree with that, which makes me wonder what is this next gen stat stuff they're talking about? Remember on the next level page? What is that?
Yeah.
Is it anything similar to that? I don't know, but see, this is why we're gonna have our hand on your neck, so to speak, because you're telling us this stuff, and you just heard what True Sim Gamer just said. He's thinking about something like that. So that's why we got to be on their neck. And forgive me, guys, for looking crazy. I keep forgetting to do this. I'm looking at my real camera rather than looking down here at the web camera. Bad habit. So y'all probably see me looking above y'all. Silly. Anything you want to add to that, Smitty?
No,
No,
not at all.
not at all.
My man knocked
my
it
man
out
knocked it
the
off the park.
All right, cool. And I have to remember, too, guys, actually, I'm going to mute Smitty in Blog Talk because we're going to get double audio there because y'all hearing Smitty through Zoom. And, yeah, and I forgot that they can hear you in Zoom, so they don't really need to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll just
That's
unmute you if somebody wants to speak, like, while they're on. I can unmute you there in the Blog Talk thing. But, all right, next caller, 954. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing good, brother. To keep it short, I've been a franchise head since the beginning, across multiple games, not just Madden, but the MLB games, FIFA, you name it. And in my opinion, EA in terms of Madden and the exclusive deal that they have on simulation football games, they put it into stasis. They're sleeping on the Madden franchise because they know the MUT brings in so much money. As long as you don't touch the MUT, the money's gonna keep coming in. But franchises like FIFA, they gotta keep competing because PES is still out there. So in my opinion, if that's considering the direction that Madden's been going in the past a decade or so, you might need a change in the leadership of the Madden franchise. You may need to look at the FIFA team and get them involved and put them, give them the keys to the Madden franchise and let them do something with that. Because, right now, I don't know if the current team that is tasked with handling Madden can get the game to a point that I think we all want it at, particularly for the franchise heads. All right, that's all I gotta say, man. Y'all have a good night.
Man, you too, man. We appreciate you calling.
Man.
I'm a little shocked by some of you guys. This is not my response to 954, but I will say I'm a little shocked. Phone queue is open. Nobody's calling. That's the last one so far. What y'all doing? But anyway, I'll give my 2 cents, and Smitty will give his as well. First thing I want to say, 954, and actually let me unmute Smitty for the time being as well until I see people hang up, because that's going to be the dilemma, Smitty. The thing is, if they stay on the phone, well, you know what? They're probably still listening to the stream too, so we'll be all right. It'll just be a little delay. But I'll babble enough to where they can hear me, and then by the time the stream catches up, they'll hear you through Zoom. Here's the thing. For people who are unaware, it's not the developers. And we'll be brief in saying that because we say this a lot, but I want to make sure those of you that might be new, I can't assume that everybody that comes to watch myself or Smitty, that you've been here before, it's not the developers. The developers definitely have the talent. These are the same people who, a good amount of them are the same people who built the Maddens that you liked. The NCAAs of the world, same dev team. It's not them. It's those above them that decide where they're going to allocate their resources in terms of what we're going to work on, what's important. Rex Dixon was the lead gameplay developer. He left because of a difference of opinion. One of the biggest things he promoted was fixing the game, all of the legacy bugs, getting all that to play more realistic and just rip a lot of that stuff out. They weren't going for it. Not at the time. They didn't think it was as important at the time. So that's the issue. Yes, it would be great if they could, get with the FIFA and the NHL team. I always say EA Tiburon versus EA Canada would be great. to get those guys and let them work together. I mean, honestly, excuse me, the way I would love EA Sports to work, which if it was my company, from the beginning, I would have built everything on the same platform. Meaning, all of our games animate, run, behave, interact, AI, all of that is the same. The only thing that we program differently is for it to work for this sport and for it to work for that sport, and then let's make it work for this sport. But it should be the same system. And that's what they promoted with Frostbite. Apparently, we heard people way up the top were saying, well, y'all saw it in the investor call that year. Division was that we're all running on the same code base. Remember that? Maybe that's what next level is going to be. I don't know. But, yeah, that's I asked y'all to keep it short, and there I go rambling. The other piece that I would say there really quick is it's one of those things, man. Again, what I was going to comment on, it goes back to the whole developer thing. It's just trust us when we tell you it's not them. They're fully capable of making a game that we all want. Many of them on staff, they want the same game. You know, you talk about franchise, Moonlight Swami is on staff. For any of you guys that know him from his franchise days. Guys like Deuce Douglas has the same affiliation that we do. It's really not at the dev level, and it's unfortunate. Anything you want to add to that, Smitty?
Hold on, I'm on a phone call real quick.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to say on that? I feel like it was a point I wanted to make and I forgot. It's the top leadership heads running the show for sure. Yeah, definitely true, Sim Gamer. I'll read some comments, man, while we wait for Smitty. The King says, we don't know what the franchise devs can do because they keep getting pulled for other projects. One year they get pulled to help live. The next year they get pulled for Frostbite. Then they get pulled for Long Shot. Absolutely. That is a fact, Jack. We know this to be true because, again, these were years when I was actively going there. True story. Y'all like when I tell y'all true stories, and this ain't breaking no rules. So Smitty and I, let me see, what was the last NBA Live? The NBA Live 19 was the last one, I believe. Yeah. So Smitty and I had an opportunity to come down to EA.
All right, I'm back.
All right. Yeah, I'll tell him this quick story, and then I'll let Smitty give his thoughts on the last call. Quick story, guys. Me and Smitty was fortunate enough to get invited to come to EA early to help work on Live 19. Live. Well, it might have been 18. It was one of them. Was it 19 or 18? 18. Okay. Now, I mean, early. early. We in there getting lunch, and we start bumping into some of the Madden guys. And they got these long faces on. I mean, you know when you've been around people long enough, you could just tell what type of mood they in. I'm like, yo, what's up? And I'm not going to name any names, but there was multiple guys saying, yo, we concerned. It was like, with what? Like, what are you talking about? It's like October. It was early. It was like, yo, man, we got to go to Frostbite, and this might not be good. Like, they was basically saying right now, at this very moment, everything's broken. Which everybody should expect that. I mean, true Sim Gamer probably knows that being a programmer. When you trying to put this whole new, I mean, of course, there's a point where you have to break everything and rebuild it. But they were concerned at how long it was going to take and what it was going to mean for that year's Madden in terms of features. Right? So I say that just to say what my man said there, the King, absolutely correct. They were pulled away from, it was franchise people working on Frostbite, helping live. Y'all remember that year? I bumped into John White, found out that John White wasn't even working on Madden's franchise that year. I was like, what? You're the contact. I'm over here live. What? Right? And not only that, Long Shot. I mean, the amount of resources that they was using for Long Shot, it don't even get us started. So my man is absolutely right, man. So I just say that just to again, when I say this is not to be offensive. Is literally we try to educate some of you guys that, and I don't mean that literally. I just mean some of you guys that may not have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. These are the type of things that the devs have to deal with. They have to deal with that on top of their ideas getting shut down and things that they want to do. And if the big bosses ain't going for it, ain't nothing they can do. So yes, in short, the team is talented enough to do it. They just aren't giving it, they ain't giving the keys, man. They're not giving the keys. They're still being babysat. Do what we tell you to do. But what you think, Smitty, man?
Well, what was the key point that my man was making? Because that kind of slipped my mind a little bit.
Lord have mercy. I'm trying to remember
at.
too. He was talking about. He was kind of talking along the lines of saying that they should get with the FIFA teams and the NHL teams, and he's not sure that the Madden team might not be able to produce.
Yeah, no, I remember. Okay. The thing about that, just to get to his point with that first, is that the problem is that FIFA has a much bigger dev team than Madden does. They have 3 studios that work on that game every year. Madden, it's just Tiburon. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge that plays a huge part. So just think, they have many more devs on hand working with the game than Madden would. But you are right though. I mean, yes, it would be great to see the teams intertwine with collaboration and really bring these games out to the forefront the way they should. But we've said that, I don't know how many times I've said that. And then even the premise of what was the premise of this whole console generation? Sharing technology. What one game does, the next game's going to get. If something's done real well in live or FIFA or NHL or whatever, it's going to be brought into the next game the next year. That never happened. You know what I'm saying? That never happened. It never. Well, excuse me. It did happen, but it was like the smallest. It was like subtle details, like graphical textures that were used in NHL were brought in at UFC. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like it wasn't like we got this core gameplay aspect that's going to take the game to the next level, and we did it in NHL, and we're about to bring that into Madden. It's like nothing like that happened. Nothing remotely close like that happened. And then they moved to Frostbite, same deal. It's like, where's this movement at? None of that happened. So, as much as I want to sit up and applaud, you know what I'm saying? Like, I applaud those games, but that's why I say, like, what's the deal with Madden? And who's to say they're going to do the same? They're not going to do the same thing with sitting on their hands going into this next generation. You know what I'm saying? And then going to what Sim was talking about, with talking about the development with live. And I mean, basically we were in the studio when, what was it? This was like a few weeks.
It was early, man.
after 2K17 came out. So this was like late September. We were down in Orlando and we played what was going to be live 18. Yeah. So yeah, we got to test that. Like that was pretty cool. And yeah, it's like, Sim, and I mean I got to that was the first time that was when I actually got to meet what's my man's name? I met Brandon Garden at one event, but then I met Steven Davis. We met him there. He was there at lunch too. You was talking with the devs and everything, but I saw him like, my man in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't let himself go out there his playing days or none of that stuff. My man was in shape and everything. But I'm like, oh snap, that's okay. I'm like, oh, Steven Davis. Like it just rung in my mind. Like, oh, okay, like he's just nice and everything, but No, it's like when you know you see everything that happened with the Frostbite transition and all the stuff that was going on crazy with that. You had long shot. Rex and them didn't want to do long shot. But because of what happened with the journey, they were forced to do long shot. And then you had John White working on NBA Live, like Sim said, working on live. I mean, Charles Davis. I'm sorry, Charles Davis. I'll butcher his name. My bad. But you can't pull people like that and then still expect. See, when you're the only game around, that's the problem. In a sense, even though, like, and that's to the point my man was saying that called in, even though, even though FIFA technically is in a class by itself because of but it's only because of licensing. I see it in the comment sections of videos and people tweet about it. I see this every year. Man, if PES had the licensing that FIFA does, it would obliterate it because they got the gameplay. Like, that's the thing. They have the core gameplay. Hey, even my man Corey, and all due respect, I know he's community manager over FIFA and everything like that, but he showed me how PES was so much better than FIFA. And this was years before he was, employed by EA, in that position. But he's always told me year after year after year how PES is so much better core gameplay wise. Like, FIFA has the teams, and I'll be, I'm the casual guy, so I'm like, when it comes to soccer games, so I'm like, really, is that much better? He's like, oh my gosh, it's not even close. Like, the only thing that FIFA has is just the licensing. If they didn't have the licensing, like, FIFA probably would run the tables. I mean, PES would probably run the tables over FIFA. Like, it's that far, apart. And I'm like, see, that's why we look at the game, we look at Madden and we talk about how they lack. But then you look at the soccer crowd and they're talking about how FIFA lacks so bad. But yet we'll look at FIFA and be like, man, you see this stuff in FIFA? Like, you see what I mean? It's just like how people complain about NBA 2K. It's like saying you're complaining about a Lamborghini because you got a Maserati instead. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have something solid, but you don't have the absolute creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. While Madden, it's like we got a Geo Prism. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't even in that conversation. We ain't even in that.
A priest.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh god.
Like, we ain't even in that conversation right now. But that's the way it is, So we need to see these dudes be able, and this is a key thing. We need to see the dev teams be able to step up. You know what I'm saying? Even if, and I know Sean Grady, did his video and said his speech and all that stuff. And even though he may be on that higher executive level, he's only one guy. You know what I'm saying? So even if he's up here saying like, yo, we need to get this game right. I remember meeting the man and everything. When I first met him down in the studio, when me and Sim first went down there, and he told us, like, we're going to get the game there. It's going to take us time.
Super nice guy, too.
Yeah. So
good dude.
He told it and everything, but he's only one guy. You know what I'm saying? So if you got him in there, but then you got 4, 5, 6, whatever number people on the executive board that are like, but look at our numbers, though. Look what we're doing. And why should we invest that much more into it? And we're already doing well. We're satisfying the NFL. We're doing what we need to do. Why do more? You see what I'm saying? And that's the vibe that I get, because look at the product we got. We got patch notes for what they did in Madden 21. You telling me that dev team, franchise guys, that's the best they could do all year? That was it? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, core gameplay, presentation, franchise mode dev, things like that. This is what we got. Come on, y'all. You know what I mean? So, that's just the sentiment that I have in regards to it. But I'll throw it back to you, Sam.
Yeah, man, just a side note. Some people might be mad, but y'all know it is what it is. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I just typed it there, but I forgot to put Nationals as well. I wanted to say, did you guys see what the Yankees and Nationals, both teams did for the national anthem? Dope. I think that was dope. For you guys that don't know what they did, they kneeled. And I'll just stay here for a second. The reason why I think that's dope is because, again, what has always pissed me off about this whole thing is the narrative it got
I'll be
spun.
right back, Sim. Just so you know, I'll be right back.
All right, yeah. What's always pissed me off about that, man, is the narrative was spun. Okay? It was never about the flag. Never. So, to me, seeing what these guys are doing, that's great. And I'm letting you know right now, y'all going to see more of that. Okay? Expect it in the NFL. So, for those who don't appreciate it and you think it's a me versus the flag type of thing, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I'm not the smartest person in the world or the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but I have common sense, and common sense should tell you what that whole movement was about with Colin Kaepernick. And if you choose to think that it was just about the flag, that's on you. All right, so yeah, I think that was dope, man, what the Nationals and the Yankees did, and you're going to see a lot more of that. One other thing I wanted to talk about really quick, man, is I did remember what my point was that I wanted to make earlier. I wanted to talk about Mutt for a moment, and let me take these headphones off. They're hot. I know a couple of you guys said that, Mutt is the reason. And, we talk about this a lot on this show too. But again, sometimes people are first-time listeners, callers, viewers, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't ever want to assume that everybody has heard what I've said in the past. But it's not, to me, I think that's just an excuse. It's funny, I was having somewhat of a conversation with my man Shopmaster earlier. Some of us communicate with each other on Discord, and Shop mentioned in there that he doesn't like that narrative. I fully agree with Shop, meaning the narrative is always that, Mutt gets everything. Mutt gets all of the resources and this, that, and the third. I get what people are trying to say, but if you really strip it down, what's different about Ultimate Team every year? What's different? What did Mutt get last year and the year before that took actual development time away from being able to further along your gameplay or franchise? What are these key features that Mutt is getting that's taken away from the rest of the game? If you think about it, Mutt doesn't change that often. It's the same game over and over and over and over. Yes, it is a continuous development type of thing, because they do create new content and, it's a live service. They create new content all the time and new cards and specials and things like that. But what I'm saying, these things are not, and I don't want to poo-poo on somebody's job, but these things are not like extensive work. Once you have the structure of Mutt working, creating new content can't be that hard. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand when I understand the sentiment when people say Mutt gets everything, but it really don't. It don't change much. Now for Madden 20, we could say there were some resources spent with Superstar KO. Yeah. That's something that you can point at and say, now that right there took away time for something else. That could have been a franchise feature or features. That could have been fixing more gameplay bugs, et cetera, et cetera. But no, you actively built this entire game mode. That took dev time. Not so much Mutt. The other side of that is people will say, well, all they care about is money. Let me break it down for y'all. Every business cares about money. Every single business. Every single business. But let me show you how I debunk that also. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. But you always hear me say I don't give Madden that excuse. I don't throw it to Mutt and say that's why. No. I ain't giving y'all that excuse. You know why I'm not? Because every other sports title that we know has an ultimate team. Every other sports title AAA title on the market has features in franchise mode that we can say is not in Madden, right or wrong. Whether you think their franchise mode is deep or not is not what I'm really debating, because we know which game has the deepest experience. But even if you look at FIFA, there are things in their franchise mode, even things that they're advertising for 21, that's not in Madden. NHL has that robust scouting now. And they have coaching carousel. It's not in Madden. MLB The Show with their depth. Not in Madden. It's a lot of things in there that you would like to see translated in a football game. Not there. And don't get me started on NBA 2K. Come on. Come on. Let's play a game. How many things can you think of that's in their franchise modes? Not franchise mode, modes, plural. Because if you want to get really granular and you really want to get your hands on the franchise, there's my GM. See what I'm saying? Not just my league, but my GM. So like I said, every single AAA sports title has features or a feature in their franchise mode that we could say is not in Madden. And all of those games has a ultimate team. And y'all say, oh, all they care about is money. That's every company. You think 2K don't care about no money? With all their VC and all that? Come on, man. Come on. And this is why I'm saying we can't keep giving that as the reason. Like, to me, and like I was telling them, Smitty, that, we talk amongst, we have like a Discord that, I'm not going to share conversations with you guys, obviously, but we talk with other people, like we talk with Shop and other guys like that. And I was telling them that Shop, I saw a comment that he left earlier today saying he doesn't agree with that narrative. And you might have saw it. I agree with him. I was like, you're right. I don't agree with that because, like Shop said, we're giving them an out. You giving EA an out by keep saying that. They just care about Mutt. Mutt gets all the time. Mutt get all the resources. But how does it change every year? It's literally the same game with a living service, live service where they create new cards and stuff. But it's not like, and what I was saying in the thing today, and Smitty saw it, I said this verbatim. What new features does Mutt get that's taken away from, like, something that could have been in franchise? Like, name the feature. I can't name any. It used to be these, what do they call them in Mutt? Like, before they were abilities, whatever those things they had in Mutt, which now Mutt and regular.
The chemistries you're talking about?
No, not, well, yeah, the chemistries. We do need that. But
yeah.
What were like the abilities and stuff called before they were called abilities? Was it always abilities in Mutt? Before we got them in franchise and all of that? Or what they call badges? Or what do they call?
You had chemistries and you had something else. I know what you're saying. But...
Help me out, Mutt players. NY Kid would know. What are the traits and stuff called in Mutt?
Yeah.
Like
it was chems and
gunslinger and all that jazz. Were they always called abilities before? But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying.
But yeah, they had, but still.
Those were the only things that they had.
They had classification kind of stuff in there that franchise doesn't have, like,
exactly. They had that chemistries, absolutely. But over the last 5 years, not a whole lot of, like, actual features that Mutt has that would have taken away from another area of the game. That's just my opinion, man. And shout outs to my man Trey IM2 for the donation. Definitely appreciate you there, brother. But yeah, and that's our only point is let's not give them that out and blame it on Mutt, because that's not an excuse. Look over at your competition. Peek out your window and look at them dudes across the street in a 2K and Take Two Interactive, and look what they're doing. Meanwhile, they love money too. They can get you with VC in pretty much any mode. They'll get you with my team. They'll get you with, buying and purchasing things and you're my player, and then on the park and getting a haircut and all that. So don't use that to say, well, we're focusing on Mutt because that's the cash cow. Yeah, but look at your competition. Meanwhile, they gave us the deepest franchise mode. So, guys, please let's stop doing that. And the right answer to what you guys are saying, well, I will agree, is, yeah, I'm pretty sure those people up above is like, everything's fine, we're making money. But I promise y'all, I don't think they care as much about Mutt either. I'm talking about the suits. Think about what happens with Madden every year. There are features that are not implemented, and they are, and we're talking even just gameplay. Remember, Mutt is gameplay too. So it's not like Mutt is this whole totally different thing. Anything they do with gameplay affects Mutt. So think of every gameplay feature that we don't have in Madden that affects Mutt too. So you would think if Mutt was all they cared about, they would fix these things. So I think the correct thing to say is, and again, I'm not telling people how to think, but the correct thing to say is the people at the top level are sitting on their hands, they're sitting back, eating good, money is flowing. Whatever y'all doing with the game, keep doing that. We're not going to spend any extra money here or there because we're making money. But I don't think that those guys at the top are also pointing at Mutt saying, we've got to... They obviously know where a lot of their revenue is coming from, but again, they're not pumping features in Mutt either. So, point blank, period. They're lazy. At the top, they won't allow their devs to work. And they refuse to fix franchise. And let's just hope that this whole thing woke them up. With Deshaun Grady apology and all that. We'll see, man. But that's all, Smitty. I had forgot it. I wanted to talk about that because I think our caller also mentioned something about Mutt, or at least somebody in the chat said that's the reason why the game won't progress. But I'm like, nah, man, we can't keep giving them that excuse, man. That's not an excuse.
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, I agree.
I ain't got nothing else, man. I'm surprised that you guys, man, you had 2 callers.
There's another caller?
No, I said all we got was 2. As much as people asked to call in, I'm telling you, when you cut them lights on, man, I don't know what it is. Some people, they shy away from it, but it is what it is. But y'all are welcome to call, man. We're gonna try to keep this as an option every week. We'll speed through our topics and then just let you guys say what y'all have to say, get it off your chest. We still got a little bit of time left, man, but. Is there any? Oh, you know what, Smitty? We could talk about really quick. It seems like it's not just Madden, right? That gets the criticism of looking the same. I saw so many people say, "Man, UFC 4 looked the same as the last one." Man, I don't understand that. And I'm like, I get it. On one hand, because the game has been away a few years. But I think what people fail to realize, Smitty, is that we're still talking about the same console. Like, how much better does 2K look every year on PS4? Incremental changes. You don't go from 2K19 to 20 and your head is blown off like, whoa. That ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Ain't gonna happen for 21 either. The only thing that it happens with is that next gen trailer.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying? If that was Zion, now we like, whoa. But I don't understand what people in general be expecting from just a trailer. And I know, Madden gets that criticism and they should, but I don't get why people blindly look at a trailer and they're expecting to see a brand new game. It doesn't work like that with any games that you play, unless you're talking about, a RPG that's been away for years. But for the most part, if it's on the same generation, it's not going to be a huge jump in graphics. It's the console, and it's what I'm saying, it's the console power and
Right.
how far these developers are willing to go. But I don't know. To me, it looks like it's gonna be a smoother game. So, to me, if they can make it smoother, and I hate to sound like a casual, but a little more user friendly in terms of submissions and all of that type of stuff, because I just couldn't do it. I don't think
Like,
it looks bad. I think it looked like it might be okay.
did you play the closed beta?
Nah, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. From me playing, because I played the closed beta, and it was very the game. It's like this. Stand up did not feel significantly different. It's it is improved, um, but it was not significantly better. I will say the stand up clinch game is definitely better. It is a lot more free flowing. There's a lot more. It's a lot more organic element to it, along with the control. So I mean, I had a fight where I was going up against Tyron Woodley, and I had Uzman, and it was like you had Woodley purposely put me in the clinch, and he had me in the single collar clinch, and he's trying to throw a knee, and I ended up rocking him. You know what I'm saying? I caught him with a clean shot to the side of the head, and then he dropped down to the ground, and I finished him off with some punches. But the problem is that the ground game still feels the exact same in
Oh
principle
God.
that it was back with the first UFC. Like it didn't feel organic, and in spite of all the suggestions from what was done in the Undisputed series, because the Undisputed series did it best. Somebody did a video where they actually broke down what's in Undisputed 3 that is still better than what's in UFC 4. And it's like
Wow.
I fully agree, because the ground game felt a lot more dynamic. There were multiple levels of dynamics to it. UFC, like for example, in UFC 3, I mean, excuse me, in Undisputed 3, you can get rocked and you'll get knocked down, but you can fall down to your knees. So it's like they
Wow.
have stages of where you can be down. Like you could be down on your knees, and then dude gets on your back, and then you can try to strike, you can block, things like that. You could try and flip him over, try and do a submission, things like that, and he can come unfazed at that point. And now there's more of a fight to it. It's more of a chess match now. In UFC, what it's been all this time, and it still is the same, is when somebody knocks you to the ground, it's you go down to the ground and you're down, and now you just jump in. If you decide to mount them or whatever, you jump in and you just straight dive in and punch, and then now you're
Wow.
doing your ground game thing. In UFC Undisputed, this is another thing. Dude could be fall down, lay on his back, and you could step up to him and be on his legs. And now you're standing there and you trying to throw your punches, and you could try and slip, sway, but the more rocked you become, the harder it is for you to slip. Like if I'm fresh and I get knocked down, I can move a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But when I'm dazed, it's like he can't move nearly as fast. But you can still block too. So it's not just slipping, but you could block as well. So it's like they put all the phases in there. There were many levels that they put into that Undisputed game that we don't have in this game here. That's why, like the submission game, what they did, and I'll give them this: the the takedown defense is much better. It does feel more organic. It's not as much the pulled in two man anthems like how it was before. So I'll give them that. Like I said, when it comes to the collars and the single collar and the double, they did a much better job of making it feel more organic, more responsive with your control. So it's like you can throw your punches, you can block stuff, things like that. You do have more ways of taking somebody down position wise. Like you can push someone up against the cage, use that for leverage, and
Mm.
then take them down accordingly. So it's like they do have some stuff in there. But once again, that was in Undisputed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, they made some improvements, but and the submission game they took from Undisputed in that sense, which in a good way, because this was something that we wanted. The game of submitting is more, you like, if you have a bar and the your opponent has a bar, and it's like they got to chase you, they got to try to overlap and cover your bar until they pull the submission all the way off. You know what I'm saying? So
I could
that's,
never figure out the old one.
yeah.
I could never get it, man. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but
Sure, man.
I could
So
never
yeah,
do it.
so that's that's what they did. So I'll give them that for what they did. But outside of that, the ground game is still the same, where it's like you got to hold the direction on the analog stick, wait for the circle to fill up, and then you can move. That's whack, because I kept getting, my transitions would be getting blocked. When I'm trying to get up, they're able to block my transition. What made it so much better in Undisputed was the fact that you can fake, like you could halfway input the command as if you're trying to kick out, and then you can switch real quick to the other side. Like I'm trying to get out on the left, I could move, and it'll be as if I'm gonna do the movement to go for the left.
Mm.
They'll think I'm going left, and then I'll go right. Boom, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Or I reversed it or something like that. They had that there. You don't have any of that now. You don't
Oh,
have that in Undisputed. You see, I mean, not Undisputed. You don't have that in UFC 4. So it's like they improved it, but it feels like a UFC 3.2. It's not something that is like, yo, look what they did this year, guys. Like, so I
mm.
can't. I was disappointed, because that was a game that I honestly was looking forward to. Like I really was hoping that would have hit, especially looking at the trailer. You got my man Kimbo, the backyard fighting. I mean, that's where Kimbo came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Had
yeah.
him in the trailer dealing. No, 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 don't do that. You had Kimbo in the trailer giving folks some work and everything like that in the backyard. Like, yeah, that'd be sweet. And so it's a game that'll be fun if you're a casual guy, or you're just a casual follower of the series and you don't mind playing it for a little bit. But it's not what we really should have got. And that's what makes it so disappointing for me, because I expected for us to get a lot more meat on the bone with 4. And yo, with the striking and everything, you know what? Since the striking's so organic and everything like that, y'all just need to go ahead, instead of quit doing these pre-orders, putting these boxers in here, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You got Anthony,
Because
you
that
got
looked
Mike
good.
Tyson, and you got Anthony Joshua, and my man, I can't even think of his
Uh,
name now. Big fella that fought
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wilder,
The Gypsy
Tyson
King, man.
Fury,
Yeah, yeah,
Tyson
yeah.
Fury. Like, don't put him in his pre-orders and everything, and it's not boxing, man. Give us the fight night. Just
The,
give the fight night.
them punch physics look crazy in the trailer.
Yeah, the I will say that the striking is still nice. Like I said, it doesn't feel unique to the fighters, and that's the problem. I would love to see it where striking is truly unique to the fighters. I mean, it's cool to have the stances, it's cool to have them walk and their approaches and everything, but we need to see these fighters really fight like how they fight. And that's one of the key things. Like I'm sub to Marshall Mind. Like I watch his videos a lot, because him and MMA game. Like those guys are my main go-to guys when it comes to these games and paying attention to the strikes and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it there isn't true organic like individual play. There isn't true individuality in that sense.
Mm.
So I wish they did. If they did, the game would be a lot more phenomenal. But it's not a bad game. You know what I'm saying? But we just need to have that individuality in the game. And like I said, give us freaking fight night at the end of the day.
Yes, please.
Please. Give us fight night mode in the game. If y'all have that in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, something to quit putting these don't tease us with no boxes in MMA. Like, no, give us boxing.
And
Please.
see, that used to be the problem in Fight Night too, when you were saying about the stages. And to me, I didn't like how they had that. Like when you got dazed or whatever, and you was just stuck, and your guy could tee off. I was like, that ain't how it worked.
Yeah.
That's not how it works in boxing. When did that Undisputed game come out? Like, how old is that?
Oh, what Undisputed? When did Undisputed 3 come out? I want to say like 2011 or 2012. Undisputed 3 dropped.
Oh, so that wasn't on PS4, PS4
no.
generation. Wow, and it
Nope.
still ain't.
It still ain't
See?
hitting it up compared to that. And even in there, they had Pride mode in there, so it's like you could fight in Pride or in UFC. You have fighters in Pride that fought with shoes on. So it was like if you fought with shoes on, there you couldn't do particular types of kicks because you rocking shoes, especially when you was on the ground. Like they you couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So like there's stuff they did. I think, you know what I think, Sim, and this is kind of like with the 2K5 thing. When there's like this writing on the wall with certain companies where it's like, we know that EA is about to get the exclusive license. So we're gonna go all out on this 2K5 and give them this package. We're just gonna mark it at $19 and just put it out. I think it was the same thing with THQ. Like they saw the writing on the wall, like, you know, we about to lose this license. Companies not hitting the way they used to. I think that we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna jam pack this game. Oh, it came out in 2012. There it is. Yeah. So we're gonna jam pack the game and we're just gonna load it to the gills with everything. Pride mode, the officiating, the announcing, all that good stuff. And then we're gonna give them the UFC mode too and everything. And it was like they gave all of that in the game. Like,
see, and I'm always trying to give EA Canada their props.
Yeah,
slipping.
Yeah, I mean, they had something with the boxing, like I said, but the UFC thing, it's like I give them respect for what they're trying. Here, go ahead, baby. Ooh, let me help you out. They did their thing with the boxing. That wasn't a bad. I mean, they did good games. All you know, the Knockout Kings, and then the Fight Night series, and it's like
I love Knockout Kings. That was my joint.
Yeah, Knockout Kings
then.
is that joint.
Yeah,
but they dropped the ball a bit, and I need to see them get back on the ball. So I don't know what'll happen, man. I really am not sure. But I just feel that EA can do much better than what they're doing with this game series as well, because like I said, you've had plenty of people give the feedback like Undisputed has this, that, and the other. Like you had people say for multiple years that they had all these things added into your game. You guys haven't added it. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have the hardcore MMA crowd is going to have some level of disappointment.
yeah.
So I'm curious to see what the ratings are going to be for that game, because it drops before Madden does. It comes out on like the 14th or 15th next month.
Yeah, that joint's coming soon.
Yeah, so we'll see. You know, we'll see what's up if it does anything. We'll see what's up. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And yes, CDJ, I agree, and not just because obviously all this Steeler stuff here, but TJ Watt should be higher than that. They tripping. TJ Watt should be at least a 90. This dude is a freak. But anyway, yeah, that's about it, guys. We have nothing else. We lost 918. I'm not sure he dropped off.
Mm.
But as you guys saw, man, the calls, they do work.
Yeah.
So we want to keep this going each and every week if we can, just be brief with our banter, if you will, and then we'll have the callers come on and do their thing. That's about all I got, man. Trying to think, was there anything else we may have missed? UFC. I might try to check out some of these baseball games just a piece of them, before I
Oh
lay it
yeah.
down, just to see how it feels without a crowd.
Yeah.
Yikes, man! I watched some UFC fights. I think might have been last week, and then I watched a
No
little.
crowd.
Oh man,
Yeah, no, that kills it.
it's weird,
Boxing
man.
with no crowd.
Oh god, it's
All
weird.
of it is. I mean, you can hear the hits now, so it's
Yeah.
like when somebody gets clapped, like you hearing that contact, but it's not
Yeah.
the same. And like I seen some clips from MLB, like you said, and it's like they said that MLB the show was using their artificial crowd noise for their stuff, and it's
What?
like
For
yeah.
real?
So it's like somebody hit a home run, and when the ball went up out the park, they played the crowd noise, even though there's nobody
wow.
there.
That's a good look. That's a
Yeah,
good look
so-
for the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like they play the crowd noise though, so it's
Okay.
like, they try to get it. I mean, that's a big old atmosphere to be in, and there's just no sound. You're just
Yeah, be like, it's out of here.
exactly.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you hear. Yeah.
But see, the NBA side though, see with them being on the court, see that's
Yeah, that might make it cool. That might make it cool, man.
yeah, because they're all in that close proximity. So it's like you're gonna hear the smack talk, you're gonna hear all of that banter and everything going on. That's going, that'll be entertaining. So
That's one thing I did forget. What's up, depressed Steelers fan? We'll talk about that next week because I want to spend a little time on it.
oh yeah,
Tyson.
Mike Tyson, yeah, Roy Jones.
Man, listen. We'll get into it. We'll get into it next week because I want to have a segment on that. But for so many reasons, it's going to be a crazy thing to see. That's all.
20 years ago, it would have been a great fight. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind watching it 20 years ago.
Yeah, but now it's like.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, I can spend 2 seconds on it. I really don't have a long time to discuss it. It's like this. For one, Tyson is a naturally bigger man than Roy Jones.
Right.
We've seen clips of Tyson still, that muscle memory is still there.
Yeah.
I would imagine Roy Jones still got his too. I watch, some boxing stuff on YouTube where he's training guys. He still got his stuff too. But both of these guys are 50 plus.
Yeah. But see, you know what? We're not seeing, the way Tyson fights, he could give you a solid round or two.
Right.
I believe of the way he works. Not as agile, but he can still, we see him throw. So it's like he can still throw, and he's had some training too, dedicated. But it's a different ball game for Roy, knowing that you were all about being elusive and slipping and ducking and all. Like, you think you're really going to be doing all so against Mike Tyson? Like, I don't know about that.
I bet you he come into, y'all must have forgot. You watch. He going to play his own record. I guarantee you he coming in on that. Y'all must have forgot. No, you must have forgot how old you are, sir. Come on, Roy, give it up. Listen, the last time we saw Roy, and it hurt my heart. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to give it up, man. Like, I wish this was as being a boxing enthusiast, this was always my dream for Roy Jones after he fought Ruiz. He fought that heavyweight and won the belt. Leave. Bye.
Yep, that's
retire.
it.
That's how you do it. Going through all of them weight classes and get a heavyweight title, you're supposed to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's why I know some people hate on him. This is the reason why I wanted Floyd to stop fighting. Preserve who you were. Don't keep
Preserve the
and Floyd,
legacy.
let me tell you, Floyd, don't get the urge to come back in there and try to fight dudes like Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford. Don't do that. I know you, Floyd, but them boys is young and them boys can fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see a situation where think about it. Y'all remember the fight when Shane caught him?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though Sugar Shane won't Sugar Shane then, but
Yeah, he wasn't Shane, but he
Shane was
still
able to
got him.
rock
He still
Floyd a
got
couple
touched.
times, and Floyd
Yeah.
did what he did best. He adjusted, and the rest was history. But at this stage of his career, just let it go.
Yeah,
You know,
just let
like
it go.
let the new cats come in, and I don't want to see. I think Roy could really get himself hurt, man. If Tyson, I mean, it's an
Yeah.
exhibition, but still,
But still, Tyson ain't coming in saying, "Hey, let's play patty cake." Like, no,
Nah,
he's
man.
aiming. He's aiming. he
Nah,
going for
man.
home run shots. Like, he ain't gonna play with him.
they better have headgear on. Let it be a
gonna have
sparring match. I don't want to see it, Roy. I don't. You're gonna get yourself
That's
hurt,
what I'm
man.
saying. He's not gonna be that dude.
Hurt my heart
Moving
when
and
Roy got knocked
braiding.
out, man. Y'all remember when I'll never forget. Tarver caught him slipping. But then remember he came back after that and fought that dude Glenn Johnson that knocked him out cold. And then he in the later years he's got knocked out like embarrassed. Don't do it, Roy. There's no purpose for this.
Tarver times 100,000.
Oh man. I know,
And
Dez.
see,
I
even
don't
then,
want to see
Floyd,
it.
and that's the thing. Not Floyd, excuse me. Roy had gas in the tank when he fought Tarver.
Yes,
That's a
man.
different thing. So it's like
He must have
you-
forgot. Roy, you live in your own record. You must have forgot,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, don't do that, man. Look, don't do that. Like, no.
Tyson looked like he still hit hard, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like he can hit. Like
God.
that's one thing about that. A guy like that
Nah.
stays in decent enough condition. Like, he'll be then through and yeah, Roy will mess around and be then felt that kind of power and
Oh wow.
even if he blocked it, he'll feel that kind of power and be like, oh, like
Yes,
yeah,
man. A body shot. You know Tyson famous left to the body, left upper. Oh my goodness. That was one of the
He can
prettiest
throw it.
combinations, man.
So I'm saying, you see him practice with other people, and he's just like, like, no. See, if he can still throw that without the training and all that, no.
He
man,
gets
no.
inside, it's over.
Yeah, I don't see
over.
Roy Jones posting no clips of him just working, like just freelance, just working, and he's just letting it go. No,
Yeah, I don't
Stay
want
on
to
the
see it.
side,
I'm
be
gonna
an
watch it.
analyst.
I'm definitely gonna watch it, but I just
it'll be a fun watch, but it's somebody gonna mess
it's
up.
one
I
of
don't
those
know.
things. It's just something to talk about because nothing becomes of it. Tyson, if he wins, he's not gonna stay around and become. He's not gonna be a contender. Neither is Roy. So it's just, yeah, I don't want to see it, man. But I'm definitely gonna watch it. But that's all. We didn't need a whole segment on that.
No. It's gonna be it. I'm anticipating a massacre. Okay, and if Roy can last 2 rounds, then he's got a good chance. He's got a good chance because he doesn't have, like Prime Tyson doesn't have gas that long. So it's like now he definitely shouldn't have that much gas in the tank. But I'm worried about what's his name gonna do? Roy Jones. What's he gonna do? And like I said, he's known his legacy is being an elusive fighter.
Yep.
Not standing there and going shot for shot. Who is it that when he fought that heavyweight and won that belt that time, it wasn't like he fought some big name heavyweight, right?
No, it was John
lower
John
tier heavyweight.
Ruiz, I think his name was.
Yeah, see, he didn't.
He was
fight
okay, but he wasn't even the biggest guy. He was. He's a champion,
Like
but
jumping there against Dave. Like he should have jumped in there because I felt like he should have jumped there with David Tua or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Get in there with somebody.
No
he
way.
wasn't gonna do that.
No way.
He would have got murdered in there. so that's what I'm saying. Like, no, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's just, I don't want to see it. And like my man, depressed Steelers fan said, he said, Mike Tyson said, "Who cares how old we are? Let's just do it." See, Mike itching. See, you don't want that.
Yeah, no.
Mike itching to get out there, man. As a matter of fact, if any of you guys have ever watched his podcast, I think it's called Hot Boxing, something like that. And he does it with that guy. I forget his name now, but this dude was an ex-lineman for the Bears, I think. That's his. But if you've ever watched any of those, Mike still got a lot of built up. He got some mental stuff happening, man. Like, where he's cried on the show, like when Sugar Ray was on it. Yeah, Tyson, like he basically has talked about how he never wants to be the guy he was. He's afraid of what he was when he was that nasty. Because he said there's a lot of other stuff that fueled that. It wasn't just he's big and bad. He said he actually was scared every single time he got in the ring. It's a good listen. If any of you guys ever,
I gotta check it out,
Evan
man.
Britton, that's the dude that he does it with him.
Okay.
Very, very good, man. Like Tyson, he goes in. But all I'm saying is, he got a lot of that built up in him, like that animal. Roy. Roy. Come on, Roy. That's all I'm going to say. Don't do it, brother. Yeah, Mike be speaking, man. Mike is way more intelligent. And see, it's funny because people always listen to his little voice and stuff, but I like the person that Mike Tyson is now. Like, especially if if you watched his one-on-one special that he, one-man special that he did, and just listening to him, and really intelligent, man. Like, he be dropping some jewels too on the low. But yeah, he got some stuff. He got some demons in him, man, and I hope it don't come out that night. But all right, guys, we gonna get up out of here, man. I gotta run upstairs and see what the family doing. So we thank you guys for coming out. Hope you guys enjoyed the format with including phone calls. We want to make this a more routine thing. First hour we'll talk. Second hour you guys will talk. All right, so hope everybody stays safe. Be smart. Try to enjoy your weekend. I mean, if you're in the house like the rest of us, I know. But try to make the best of it, man. And just, again, like I said, be smart because there's some weird stuff going on right now. I mean, the Portland thing with that and then the virus. It's just so much craziness going on right now. But, all right, man. Y'all be good. God bless. Good night. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.